Hi everyone, welcome to Rugby India 360. We meet again. So I'm just gonna wait for people to come in. For all those of you who are new to this platform, Rugby India 360 is basically Rugby India's way of putting across to you all the aspects of rugby in India with respect to administrative policies, with respect to players, coaches, clubs, state unions, everything. Getting all the information out there to you all on this platform so that as many doubts, questions are there in your mind as possible, they can get cleared. Today, however, we have a very, very special guest and an old friend. His name is Rishikesh Pendse. He has been in Indian rugby for a long, long time. I mean, I will introduce him in a bit. But Rishi, very fond memories playing alongside him. I mean, obviously, him in the men's team. But when I just started playing rugby is when I got introduced to him. Rishikesh is, we call him Rishi with love. So I'm going to refer to him as Rishi. Hi Remu, hi Irfan. So Rishi is India's only male rugby player that made it professional in the sport. He started playing rugby at the age of 17 and made his international debut in 2005, if I'm correct. Rishi, do correct us on that when you join. He is currently in Australia and has twins. He's blessed with twins. He holds a master's degree in sports management from Loughborough University, and he has had his professional career playing in many clubs, largely throughout Japan. But he played in, I'll take you through the names of the clubs. He played in Kobe Steelers, which is in Japan. He played in Hong Kong Scottish, North Shore Rugby Football Club in New Zealand, Suntory Sungoliaths in Japan, and his last was with Mitsubishi Dynamos in Japan. So we have a very special guest with us today. I am just going to invite him to be here. Yeah, so I've invited him and he should be here in very soon with us. Hi Sai. Welcome Rocky Khan. I believe that's you.
Vahbiz, how's it going?
Hi Rishi, how are you? Hey!
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Surviving, Vahbiz, as always. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Guys, please welcome Rishi with a huge smile. You can just put a smile up on your comments. So excellent. Tell us, how are you spending your time over there, apart from your children keeping you busy?
My life, Vahbiz, actually hasn't changed much. I've been looking after my kids for the last maybe 18 months, and it's still stayed the same. There's lots of running around at the cricket field next door. There's lots of gardening, and lots of indoor activities. So our lives haven't changed, so to speak, that much.
Okay. Because here there's a lot of things. So we're assuming everywhere in the world is like that.
No, but I mean, that being said, the rest of Australia is on shutdown, and people are. I mean, it's a grave issue, obviously, especially at home and here. But personally, the daily routine is still more or less the same.
Awesome.
Try and get the kids to sleep. That's the goal. You wake up each morning and try and get the kids to sleep. Tired enough to get them to sleep.
Awesome, awesome. Cool, Rishi. So we're going to jump directly into this conversation. Talk
Right.
us through your rugby journey, firstly in India. How did you start? When did you start? And how did your journey in Indian rugby progress?
The Indian journey started at the. I'm just trying to fix my voice. Just give me a second. My sound is a bit
You're audible.
off. Okay, great. The Indian journey started at the mighty Bombay Gymkhana, as you know. And I was, I think, 17. And I was at university. All my friends had left for America to study, to pursue studies and stuff. And I was looking for an avenue to vent my sort of inactivity. And rugby came about, and I took to it fondly. Had a really good introduction to it, because at the Bombay Gymkhana we had these 5 or 6 old stalwarts of the game, the brain trust as we call them, who sort of made the game so enjoyable for me that I just took to it fondly and never sort of went back.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so that's initially how it started. That's the basic. Bombay Gymkhana. Vix Ahuja, who's a legend of rugby in Bombay, unsung hero, some might say. But I mean, he sings his praises a lot. But he sings his own praises. But yeah, so he introduced me to the game.
Okay.
He took me to the Bombay Gymkhana and introduced me to the Nasir, Chet, Faisal, Muka, CX, and Rahul, and all these boys. And that's how I was introduced initially. My father played a long time before that, and so inevitably I was going to find my way to the rugby field.
Sure.
And when I did, I caught the bug early, and I loved it, and I just became obsessed, and I tried to become good at it then.
Awesome. And how did playing for the national team, etc., go about? Like, how did that happen? When was your first ever tournament?
So I mean,
selection?
it was all fairly serendipitous, yeah, Vahbiz. I mean, I was there at the right time. All these people I mentioned, the Brains Trust, had just come back from stints abroad or from other work, and they were just there, and there was this core of 5 or 6 people that really brought the Bombay Gym together. And there weren't too many people who started with me. Like, I mean, there were only a few young peers of my age who'd come along with me. So I guess I got all their attention. So I learned as much as I could from them, and that's who I modeled. I sort of became a composite player, a little bit of everyone, and that's what I tried to be. You know, I took the best parts of all these players, and I sort of tried to use that to my advantage.
Debut happened.
I debuted 2004. For under 19, I played 2004. I played the seniors before I played the under 19s.
Okay.
I played the seniors, like the national team. We played against Sri Lanka, I think, at the Bombay Gym.
Okay.
And I then played 2 months later. I played the under 19s.
All right.
So it was a bit ulta for me.
Nice, lovely. Okay, and you played with India for how long?
I mean, if they call me today, I'm still playing with India.
Precisely.
So,
yeah.
No, so I played 2004. I debuted, and then I left. I think I played my last test in Uzbekistan. I think that was 2015. 2015, I think, yeah. So 2015, I played.
Okay.
And then after that, because of like commitments in Japan, I really couldn't leave, or
right.
I always missed the camp a little by a couple of weeks, so it became a bit difficult to play after that.
Right. So now take us through your professional stint. Like, how did it start? How did it break through? What went through your mind when you thought about, okay, I have to take this to the next level? How did it go there? What made you switch your mind?
See, I think there was always some sort of desire to try and make a living from rugby.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, I couldn't do it in Bombay. There was no avenue for that. So then I started looking elsewhere, and I had to get creative because there was no one who'd done it before. So I had to do things on the fly. I had to take off to London for 2 years and try and make it there. Get hit a brick wall, and then come back to India, and then try in Hong Kong, and then come back to India and try in New Zealand, and then again always meeting some sort of obstacle, but not really losing faith that much because I felt like I could. I felt like there was an avenue for it. I felt like I enjoyed the game enough, or I was real enough with myself to know that whether I was there or thereabouts or not. And then eventually Japan came calling, and
so did you?
It was. I actually was in New Zealand when I got approached by an agent who was there looking for I think a different player in a different position. And again, it was just Vahbiz. It was just I don't want to say it, but blind luck. I was there at the right time. It was everything. All the cards fell for me. I'd just come off the Commonwealth Games, so I was in good condition. I was injury free. And the agent came looking, and I was ready. So in hindsight, I was always ready for the opportunity. Now, if luckily it came, unluckily it didn't come, I was ready. So I would go to university. I was studying full time over here in Bombay, and I'd train like a professional. I'd eat like a professional. I'd go to sleep like a professional, without being a professional.
Right.
So I was just trying to ready myself that if the opportunity showed up, if there was a chance, then I'm the first one in. So I was always thinking on those grounds. But I had to play things on the fly. I had to live off the cuff because there was no real path to follow. So wherever there was an opportunity, I got my foot in the door.
Awesome,
which is why I bounced around a bit, which is why I went London, Hong Kong, New Zealand, and then Japan.
Right. So Japan was your first ever move that happened?
No, actually, London was the first move. I broke my hand playing for India and Sri Lanka, and I had 8 months off. Applied for a scholarship, got the scholarship to Loughborough University. Went there, the hand healed, didn't do much study, just went to the gym and watched rugby on YouTube. And I hope my parents aren't watching this. And then I just I chased the dream in London for 6 or 8 months.
You had to approach the concerned club?
I was just approaching everyone, Vahbiz. Whoever would hear or reply to an email, I was hitting them up. I was hitting everyone up. I just was so adamant that I wanted to play rugby and play it at the highest level that I just went for broke. I was not concerned with knocking on any door, you know. If there was, and I was ready to trial for things. I was ready to test myself. I was ready for anything. So I was confident. I was confident in myself, maybe even a bit too confident, because maybe I wasn't ready in London. So I was, so I was just hustling.
Right. So, so talk us through Japan. When Japan happened, and which was your first club that you got into? I believe it was Kobe Steelers.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll take you on the trajectory. So it was, I left the Bombay Gymkhana for London for 2 years. Then I came back to India for the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
Commonwealth Games, one of the coaches asked if I wanted to come to New Zealand. Said yes to New Zealand, went to New Zealand for a season. Excuse me. And in New Zealand, that's when the agent approached us or saw us play and approached one of the club members, and that's how that happened. And that was my first stint with Kobe, and I was euphoric. I was like over the moon, but obviously prematurely, because then I got injured and I got cut from the first team. That same season, I didn't play much rugby. I played for the second tier. I hurt my knee, so I had to get surgery, and then I came back home, and I thought that was it. You know, that's the that's the end of the dream right there. But I think it was I was just, the excitement was precocious because I was chasing it, and then I thought that once I was there, it was easy. It was going to be there for life or whatever.
Right.
But then clearer heads prevailed. Parents, brother, friends, the Bombay Gym rugby team, all of that. I mean, I was just trying to figure out what the next course of action was.
Okay.
And then once having had time to reminisce and think about what had done right, what had done wrong, I then went back on the hustle track, just knocking on doors, just ready to trial anywhere, play anywhere, see what came about. And then that's when I started approaching agents and said, you know what, put my name out there. I'll fly over, do a trial. So how a rugby in a professional setup works is it's a week-long trial. So you train for the week and you play on the weekend.
Okay.
And if you impress, then you get to stay, and if you don't, then see you later. So I was like, that's that. So that's the tact I'm going to use, and so that's what I did. And I went back to New Zealand actually, because I think with Japan I had to show that I could live in New Zealand, live at that level in New Zealand again.
Okay.
And I did well at the New Zealand level, so I got that to springboard off and approach these Japanese teams and say, you know what, give us a shot. Got rejected by the first team in Osaka. Okay. And then there was an outside chance that Suntory were looking for a flanker / lock. Put the agent on it, and they said, what, if you want it, you fly over, put yourself up, you'll trial, and we'll see, like whatever.
Yeah.
I went there and I did well, and I got to stay on for 2 years.
Wow. Awesome. So did you have any, so I read an article of yours from the Hindu where it's new, where one of the clubs, you've not mentioned them, but when you had to sign their contract, they took you out for a meal, and they made you eat something which had fish guts in it. And you had to...
yeah, that was Suntory. Right. Like a celebratory meal. I just finished playing the trial game, and they'd said, you know what, we'd like you. Oh no, actually they hadn't said anything yet. So they're like, we'll take you for dinner and we'll have a discussion and see what these are our terms and whether you are agreeable and stuff. And by that time I was a bit verging on desperation. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And they put out these fish guts and these elaborate things that were spare parts of some animal. And I was just, yes, I'll have all of it. And I was just saying yes to everything. As long as they gave us the work. So yeah, that was an interesting dinner.
Was it, did you ever go back to that restaurant?
But really.
Did you ever get back to that restaurant?
No, I stayed well far from it. I didn't step close. But by the end of it, I'd gotten so used to eating all the Japanese food, and I really enjoyed it. So I mean, by the end of it, if it was all, I was there for a long time, Vahbiz. I was there for 7 years. By the end of it,
really long. So you got used to the culture, the food, and the people, etc.
But it's phenomenal. So there's not much getting used to required. The country is so fantastic.
It's wonderful.
You were there recently, you said.
I was there recently, yeah.
Right. So you know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely, it's a phenomenal place. And
it's a different mindset altogether.
Some of the comments are saying Hindi mein bol. Ask some questions in Hindi so we can feed the Hindi audience.
Sure. Yeah. I will get to that, yeah. I mean, this is the start of this.
Right.
So
what was I saying? Yeah, so Japan was a phenomenal place. Getting used to the culture was not going to take much time. I loved everything about it. And bottom line, I was getting to play rugby for a day job, which I could have done that in Siberia if you asked me at that stage. So I would have done it anyway.
All right, cool. So ऋषि, हमारे कई सारे प्लेयर्स प्रोफेशनल जाने की सोचते हैं और उनको प्रोफेशनल रग्बी खेलना है. क्या आप उनको
हाँ.
इसका तरीका बता सकते हैं, नंबर 1, और नंबर 2, एक प्रोफेशनल रग्बी प्लेयर का दिन कैसे दिखता है?
ओके, सो पहले दिन की बात करते हैं. दिन में जैसे मतलब आप काम पे जाते हो या स्कूल में जाते हो, आपका पूरा टाइम टेबल होता है. मतलब सुबह से लेके शाम तक, अर्ली इवनिंग तक, मतलब आपका पूरा स्केड्यूल लिख के आता है कि आपको शायद 3 सेशन करने हैं, एक फिटनेस का, एक फील्ड का और एक वीडियो का. तो दिन के 3 सेशन में बीच में सोने का, खाने का, और फिर काफी सिंपल दिन रहता है, क्योंकि दिन में कंडीशनिंग, दिन में जिम या कंडीशनिंग, या जिम और कंडीशनिंग दोनों. फिर ब्रेकफास्ट, मिड मॉर्निंग स्नैक, फिर एनालिसिस सेशन अगर सीजन में है तो वीकेंड के गेम का एनालिसिस, ऑपोजिशन का एनालिसिस, अपने पोजीशन पे मतलब वीडियो का इंफॉर्मेशन देखना या खुद के स्किल्स डेवलप करना, उस पर आधारित रहता है. फिर लंच टाइम, मतलब ये सब मील्स भी सब कोरियोग्राफ रहते हैं. मतलब कितना खाना है, कब खाना है, और क्या किसके साथ खाना है. सो ये सब कोरियोग्राफ रहता है. और फिर मतलब लंच के बाद थोड़ा रेस्ट का समय मिलता है, और फिर इवनिंग सेशन शायद 2:30 बजे, 3 बजे शुरू होता है, और 6:30 बजे बैक होम, डिनर की तैयारी, 7:30 बजे डिनर, और 9 बजे, 9, 9:30 बजे वापस सोने जाना है, और फिर 5 बजे उठना है. सो इट्स अ सिंपल लाइफ, बट इट्स अमेजिंग.
और ये सारी चीजें आपको बताया जाता है, आप खुद से कुछ नहीं करते हो? मतलब
वापस पूछना, सॉरी.
आप ये सारी चीजें जो आपको दिन में करने होते हैं, ट्रेनिंग, खाना पीना, सब, कब उठना, कब सोना, ये सब आपको बताया जाता है, आप खुद से कुछ नहीं करते हो?
हाँ, वही प्रॉब्लम हम फेस कर रहे हैं अभी, मतलब रिटायरमेंट में, कि 15 साल के लिए लोगों ने हमें बताया कि क्या खाना है, कब सोना है, कब जागना है. तो अब मतलब अच्छा हुआ कि बीवी है ना, सो द वाइफ कैन टेल मी नाउ व्हेन टू स्लीप, व्हेन टू ईट, व्हाट टू ईट.
नाइस.
सो ऑल ऑफ दैट इज टेकन केयर ऑफ. सो वो सब मतलब बताया जाता है कि एक प्रोफेशनल आउटलुक है ना. तो आप किसी के मतलब आपको किसी ने परचेज किया है, जैसे सोचो ऑक्शन में परचेज किया है आईपीएल की तरफ,
राइट.
सो आपको परचेज किया है, तो मतलब आप उनके आधार पे मतलब चलते हो, जो भी so whatever the team requirement, you've got to sort of fulfill that.
और जैसे आपने ऑलरेडी कुछ देर पहले बताया है कि आप जब भी प्रोफेशनल नहीं थे तभी भी आप प्रोफेशनल लाइफ जी रहे थे. लाइक आप प्रोफेशनल एथलीट जैसे ट्रेन कर रहे थे, खा रहे थे, सो रहे थे टाइम पे. सो आप सभी चीजें एज अ प्रोफेशनल कर रहे थे. The comments that are coming in.
Comments मस्त है भाई. You might need to put a Marathi question in there as well. So go on. So what were you saying?
प्लेयर ने खुद को कैसे एक प्रोफेशनल टीम की तरफ लेके जाना चाहिए? प्लेयर ने ऐसे क्या करना चाहिए कि वो अप्रोच कैसे कर सकते हैं?
Right. समझा. So I mean पहले इंस्टेंस में आपको मतलब दूर का मत सोचो. अगर आप इंडिया के लिए मतलब आपको प्रोफेशनल खेलना है, तो पहले मेरा एक मोटो था कि जितना भी है उसमें काम कराओ. मतलब जितना भी है, लाइक जो भी रिसोर्स है आपके पास वही इस्तेमाल करो. मतलब जुगाड़ मेंटालिटी जो भी है, मेक मोर विद लेस, यू नो, लाइक मेक मोर विद लेस. व्हाटएवर बेसिक रिसोर्सेज आपके पास है, उसको इस्तेमाल करके मतलब कुछ बनाओ तो पहले अपने सिटी के लिए खेलो, पहले अपने स्टेट के लिए खेलो, फिर उसके बाद नेशनल के लिए खेलो, फिर उसके बाद इंटरनेशनल खेलो, और फिर मतलब बाहर जाने के मतलब आपका रेज्यूमे बन चुका है। फिर मतलब आप बोल सकते हो कि मैं इंडिया के लिए खेलता हूँ, मैं सिटी के लिए खेला हूँ, मैं ये किया हूँ, और फिर उसके उसके बैक पे, उसके स्ट्रेंथ पे आप किसी को अप्रोच कर सकते हो। तो मतलब पहले से इफ आपका
बाहर
मकसद है बाहर जाना, तो यू गॉट टू मतलब इंडिया से शुरू करो। इंडिया
ओके
में आप अगर खेल रहे हो तो फिर मतलब अब एक आसरा है, लाइक एक कोर्स है। पहले मेरे टाइम में मतलब कोर्स नहीं था, मतलब कौन सा रास्ता इस्तेमाल करें, पर अब रास्ता है। न्यूजीलैंड जाओ, उधर प्रदर्शन अच्छी करो, और फिर जापान आएगा, मतलब वन ऑफ द
राइट
ऑप्शंस। या लंदन जाओ, उधर प्रदर्शन अच्छा करो, उधर जाओ। और ये सब मतलब एवेन्यूज है अब।
ओके
सो सो मतलब
सो बेसिकली आप
मकसद ये होना चाहिए कि पहले जो भी है हमारे पास उसमें एक्सेल करो।
राइट कूल ऋषि आपने रग्बी 17 साल की उम्र से स्टार्ट किया और
हाँ
प्रोफेशनल स्टेज पे इसे बहुत लेट स्टार्ट किया गया है ऐसे समझते हैं
हाँ।
तो
I'm
आप
just reading the comments या मेरे को कमेंट्स पढ़ने में मजा आ रहा है। सब मेरे दोस्त लोग एकदम खतरनाक कमेंट्स लिख रहे हैं।
सो बेसिकली आपने जब भी क्या आपको ऐसे लगता है कि आपने लेट स्टार्ट किया जब भी आप प्रोफेशनल स्ट्रिंग पे खेलना शुरू किया
सिर्फ मेरे लिए पर्सनली
या
देयर वाज
जस्ट
नो
फॉर यू
बेटर टाइम, मतलब उससे बेहतर
या
टाइम नहीं था मेरे लिए। मतलब मैंने
ओके
जो भी खेलना था पहले खेल खेल लिया था, जो भी करना था आई डन व्हाट आई हैड टू डू।
राइट
So 17 was the perfect time for me personally, but
ओके
otherwise for anything, for any sort of to excel at anything, मतलब एक फॉर्मूला रहता है। एक पुस्तक लिखा है वो मैल्कम ग्लैडवेल ने कि 10,000 घंटा देना पड़ता है किसी को कुछ चीज परफेक्ट करने में। सो दैट्स रफली 10 साल। सो
ओके
10 साल अगर आप रग्बी खेल सकते हो, या कुछ भी, बैडमिंटन खेलो, क्रिकेट खेलो, जूडो खेलो, जो भी,
राइट
अगर आप 10 साल दे दो तो मतलब देन यू हैव अ चांस ऑफ बीइंग ऑफ मास्टरिंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ स्किल। तो
राइट
10,000 घंटे इक्वेट्स टू 10 साल। सो मेरे लिए काफी लेट था, 17 काफी लेट था, पर लकीली फॉर मी मैंने 10 साल का जूडो किया था, और जूडो में रग्बी का थोड़ा सिमिलैरिटीज है।
राइट
सो उसमें मेरा थोड़ा लक का ये हो गया। सो मैं लकी
I
था
just
उसके
please say that in English. So because a lot of requests for the English, basically to make
Chotu is
anything
asking for English. That's quite interesting.
yeah,
Chacha.
right. So to make anything big in anything, you need to commit 10,000 hours to it, and 10,000
That
hours is
that's the
approximately,
general, like Agassi would say that, and then this dude Malcolm Gladwell said that in some book.
and
So
that is
it's the general outlook.
yeah, right. Cool, Rishi. Abhi, now you retired last year, I believe, from playing professional rugby.
Yes.
So this is a question that has come up from our current men's captain, Chotu, and he's asked that do we have any chance of seeing you playing locally in India or in Australia?
Locally,
Yeah,
every year I'll play for the Bombay Gym till
yeah.
I'm 55.
All right. And
Every year
when
I'll come back for the Bombay Gym.
and any plans of where putting the Indian jersey back on?
Chotu just needs to call me if there's a spot, if there's a flanker, short, bench, water boy, tea carrier for the kicker. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
All right. So we
It's
do.
uh, it's interesting because I mean it's been a little tough for me to take time away because actually it's been 18 months since I retired. Uh, but with the kids, it's difficult to take a 2 week or 3 week camp and then do like a month or a 10-day travel.
Right.
So once the kids are a bit old enough, I'd like them to see me put on the blue and step out again. So maybe I've got a couple more games in me, I think.
It'll be interesting. So I met you obviously when
I've
you
got
came.
some friends from Japan tuning in as well.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, Yoshimitsu.
So Rishi, I met you during the All Indias for 2 years. So you've been
Right,
continuously visiting India on and off, and I'm sure during the 15th season for sure. Uh,
right.
have you seen rugby growing in India? What is your opinion?
It's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the work that you guys at the Rugby India office are doing, uh, Mosam, Nas, Godi, or whoever's involved in the Rugby India, and whoever's a well-wisher of the Rugby India team, and obviously all the states and all the cities. It's
Right.
phenomenal. The growth. I used to think that when I was just starting off and playing the All India, I'd hear the old boys talk about how rugby's grown exponentially since their time. But I feel like it's just taken off, taken
Right.
off in the last 5-10 years. Just the things you see, the players you see, the quality of play you see with
Right.
homegrown talent. That's the most heartening thing. This is all homegrown.
Right.
This is all from the Orissas and the Delhis, and the Chennais and the Kolhapurs and the Jammus and the Kashmirs, and so that's the heartening thing. Like, you see players come out of here who can do things that international players can do. Like, the quality is that.
Wow.
So it's
Nice.
phenomenal. It's
Do
absolutely phenomenal.
you see potential for the play? Do you see how do I say, like a player pool over here being created such that they can explore teams outside?
I think that should be the goal. I think people should definitely test themselves overseas on foreign waters
Do
and
you
foreign
think
territory, and then come back.
we have that
Say
kind of
that again.
potential? Do you think currently we have that kind of potential?
We've had that potential for a long time, Vahbiz. I think one of my regrets, to be honest, is that I went alone. I would have liked to take a couple of boys. If we could do this in reverse, if we could do it again, I'd take a couple of boys, because definitely uh, we have talent that can live at the highest level.
Right. Nice.
So
Lovely.
so we still. I mean, I can go back to the All India and look and see that at least there are several candidates, girls and boys, that could live at the highest level.
Nice.
No
Super.
problem.
All right. Rishi, would you like to share any moment of yours which you remember, which is like so fresh in your head that it's like it happened yesterday? Or Hindi
Winning
mein?
the All India, no brainer. Winning the All India 2012,
Uh-huh.
Bombay Gym versus Army. There was always chat that the Bombay Gymkhana had won the All India for, I think, 5 or 6 years in a row, and they stopped winning the year I started playing for them.
Okay.
So there'd always been this. There'd always been this back and forth about how I was the bad luck charm or whatever. So in
Okay.
2012, we had to take matters into our own hands, and 8 years or 9 years since I started playing, that was the first time we won the All India. So that's huge.
Oh, wow.
Professional career. That's the highlight in my entire career.
जी जी और इंटरनेशनली कोई ऐसे आपको कोई ऐसे फैन मोमेंट हुआ है आप किसी आप एज अ चाइल्ड आप किसी लेजेंड को देख देख के बड़े हुए हो और आप उनके साथ या उनके अगेंस्ट खेल रहे हो ऐसे कोई मौका आया आपके लाइफ में प्रोफेशनली
All the stars were at the Bombay Gym, yeah, Vahbiz. There are no stars outside. I've only had fanboy moments at the Bombay Gym, but I've played with some amazing players. I've played with some world-class players, and a lot of my rugby I learned obviously from the Bombay Gym boys, but from YouTube and following what this Richie McCaw did. I just used to watch all his videos and watch all his games and pause and rewind and keep going. So that's where I learned most. A lot of my rugby, a lot of my top tier finesse rugby, I learned off YouTube. Yeah.
Play against or with Mr. Richie?
No, I didn't get a chance to play with or against Rishi, thankfully, because I was using all his tricks, so he'd know everything I was doing before I
Right.
even did it.
Right.
But I played with amazing South Africans, Samoans, Australians, Kiwis, obviously. And I never really had a fanboy sort of moment because they all became friends, you know. So
जी.
I just, yeah, it was a different sort
Right.
of dynamic straight off.
Cool. अभी हम एक quick rapid fire खेलेंगे. All right.
Chalo.
Very short. All right. New Zealand or Japan?
Japan.
All right. Forward or back?
Forward.
Toughest opponent?
Amit Lochab from Auchandi.
All right. Best Indian player you've played with?
Maybe Nasir Hussain at his peak.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Rishi. I'm at the end of my Q&A and conversation with you. I'm just going to open the floor to anybody who wants to ask questions. Yeah. So we're just going to wait. Chotu wants you to speak in Japanese.
Okay. You need to ask me a question in Japanese, and I can reply in Japanese.
Chalo, Chotu.
There was a comment saying the toughest opponent's been Jennifer Breitling, and that's my wife.
Yeah.
So obviously one of her friends is watching.
Right.
No, I'm not single.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, you can
Raichand on fire. But yeah, Vabi, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure we'll catch up again at the All India.
I remember my first visual of you, and it's so fresh in my head. We were at the Asian Games camp, और ये यहाँ पे बालेवाड़ी में, और आप yeah, so it was like, you know, the guys from the army, the guys from the Bombay gym, and everybody in middle. And I remember everyone used to be talking about you, that, oh my God, Rishi's so hot, Rishi's so sexy, and I'll be like, yeah, who's Rishi?
What?
Yes. Yeah.
What? I hope the army boys weren't talking about how.
I'm not going to say who was. No, but there were fun moments. I mean, Asian Games camp was a lot of fun. It's.
Yeah. We had some good times in Balewadi. Both teams training there, hockey teams training there.
Someone also commented saying
it was pretty close to being professional in India, Vahbiz. I think that was our first sort of exposure to being professional, because we lived in the environment. And that's what it's going to take. I think we need. I mean, all these a few of the big industrialists are doing good things for sport in India, and I think we need a facility. We need to adopt a facility. A facility needs to adopt us. I know there are things happening all over the country, in snippets in the east and the west and all that, and I think a facility sort of needs to be made available to Rugby India, and that in itself will make a difference.
All right.
Best looking teammate was definitely this guy called Daniel Lindy from I think it was Queensland or some back of beyond place. Nah, yeah, it was Queensland. So yeah, these are all my friends from Japan, just talking nonsense now.
Right. Guys, कोई भी India से या कहीं से भी, from anywhere, if you have questions, we have quite some time. We've wrapped up the Q&A in good time. कोई भी questions है आपको इनके लिए, ये मौका बार बार नहीं आएगा. आत्ता प्रश्न आहे तर विचारा. मराठी लोक आमचाच मुलगा आहे. Yeah, my
Nice, Vahbiz.
You have anything to say? How to join in Bombay gym?
You just have to go on a Tuesday or a Thursday in the season. Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. Go to the Bombay Gymkhana, and they'll let you in, whether you're a member or not a member. Just go there and they'll let you play when the season's on, when the monsoon season comes.
Right.
Masala bhatची recipe नाही येत मला. आपल्या
In the rainy season, monsoon.
Lee Dagger is alive and well.
From Bhandara Rugby, they've asked, should IPL जैसा Premier League होना चाहिए?
जो भी मतलब रग्बी को आगे लाएगा, जो भी चीज मतलब कर सकते हैं हम रग्बी के लिए, करना चाहिए. मतलब आईपीएल का लीग हो. नो या ली, आई एम इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया नाउ, आई एम नॉट इन जापान एनीमोर. शादी हो गई भाई, तो अब जिधर बीवी बोलेगी मैं उधर ही जाता हूँ. सो बीवी ऑस्ट्रेलियन है, तो इसीलिए अब मेलबर्न में आके रह रहे हम. Did you face any adaptability? So IPL का क्वेश्चन जरूर होना चाहिए. जो भी कर सकते हैं हम करना चाहिए. Adaptability issue with playing abroad? No adaptability issue really. The major thing is you got to believe in yourself, because no one's going to believe in you. So just had to have full confidence in myself, and then take a shot, take a gamble, and
Right.
Luckily it paid off. So that's because I mean, if you come from a country that's not known as a rugby playing country, and it's a cricket playing country, you're going to be underestimated a little bit. So you've got to take that on the chin, and you've got to accept it for what it is, and just have, full faith in yourself, full confidence in your ability, almost bordering on too much, because no one's going to give you a chance. So whatever chance you get, you've got to back yourself, and you've got to do it. So that eliminates any, any basic sort of obstacles.
Rishi, also a lot of athletes ask me this question, hence I'm going to put it out here. कि उन्हें जब भी वो स्कूल में है या कॉलेज में है, उन्हें स्कूल और रग्बी के बीच में कई कबार डिसाइड करना पड़ता है, चूज करना पड़ता है. तो इस सिचुएशन में आप उन्हें कुछ सलाह देना चाहते हो, हाउ दे कैन कंटिन्यू प्लेइंग?
मतलब आपको rugby is great, and it's a phenomenal teacher, and it's a phenomenal काफी मतलब रग्बी बेहतरीन गेम है, बहुत ही अच्छा गेम है, काफी सिखाता है, काफी देता है खुद को. लेकिन आपको याद रखना है कि रग्बी प्लेयर का करियर काफी छोटा होता है. मतलब आप अगर टॉप टियर तक पहुंचे, मतलब अगर आप इंडिया के लिए खेलना शुरू किए आप, तो मतलब आपका करियर 20 साल का होना मतलब काफी मुश्किल है, 15 साल का होना काफी मुश्किल है. तो करियर काफी छोटा होने वाला है, और आप उसके बाद मतलब आपकी पूरी जिंदगी बितानी है. तो अगर आप पढ़ाई छोड़ के सिर्फ रग्बी खेलो, तो उस 5-10 साल के बाद सोचो, 15 साल के बाद आप करोगे क्या? सो अगर आपका कुछ ऑलरेडी है, मतलब आप आर्टिस्ट हो, या बिजनेस करते हो, या एग्रीकल्चर करते हो, खेती बाड़ी करते हो, तो ठीक है, मतलब आप रग्बी में ध्यान दो और पढ़ाई मत करना. लेकिन आपको थोड़ा सोचना है कि फ्यूचर में क्या होगा अगर रग्बी नहीं चला. तो रग्बी जरूर चलेगा, मतलब आप अगर फुल फोकस होके, फुल कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ किए तो जरूर चलेगा. लेकिन अगर नहीं चला तो क्या करेंगे आप? सो ऐसी सोच लेके आपको आगे बढ़ना है.
हमेशा बैकअप होनी चाहिए.
अगर मतलब not always, because if you have a backup, अगर आपके पास बैकअप है तो मतलब आप थोड़ा आराम भी देते हो. सो काफी समय आपको प्रेशर चाहिए. सो डोंट हैव अ बैकअप, बट नो दैट अगर कुछ नहीं चला, मतलब मन में रखो कि अगर कुछ नहीं चला तो मैं फिर मैं उस समय यूनिवर्सिटी जाऊंगा या उस समय पढ़ाई करूंगा या उस समय ये करूंगा या उस समय कुछ प्रोफेशनल वोकेशनल करूंगा कंप्यूटर का या कुछ भी. सो बैकअप रखना इतना भी जरूरी नहीं है, बिकॉज अगर आप बैकअप रखो तो मतलब आप बोलते हो कि क्या रग्बी, मतलब अगर नहीं चला तो नहीं चला, बैकअप है तो थोड़ा फायर जाता है उसके थ्रू. सो फायर नहीं जाना चाहिए. that's the major thing.
But you encourage the kids to do their education completely.
100% do everything. As a kid, you are tireless.
Right.
Becoming a father of twins right now, I know that I'm so time poor. I have zero time. So,
Right.
as a kid, just do everything. Go to school or play rugby the whole day, study in the night, go to school at night, go to school early in the morning, wake up early, sleep little, and do whatever you can, because you have nothing else. I mean, you have no other responsibilities besides either work and whatever responsibilities your rugby team asks of you. So work meaning either school, family business, or occupation or job or whatever. So that is your major responsibility. And then your pastime. Everyone needs to have some sort of pastime, recreation होना ही चाहिए. तो अपना जो भी obligation है, पहला वो तो संभालना ही पड़ेगा. काम, पढ़ाई, वो तो करना ही है. और फिर उसके बाद रग्बी खेलो, बहुत कम सो, 5 घंटे 6 घंटे सो लो, और दिन में जल्दी उठो, रात में पढ़ाई करो.
बेसिकली
कुछ
अगर
ना
आपको
कुछ
सब कुछ करना है तो आपको आपका टाइम सही से मैनेज करना होगा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. और मतलब होगा, आप अगर आपने माइंडसेट किया है कि मेरे को सब करना है, तो मतलब टाइम मैनेज हो जाएगा.
राइट. कूल.
हो
ऋषि,
जाएगा.
आप एनी टिप्स, कुछ भी फॉर अ फाइनल शटडाउन आप बोलना चाहते हो आपके लिसनर्स को?
टिप्स टिप्स जस्ट हैव कॉन्फिडेंस दैट जो भी हमें रग्बी सिखा रहा है इंडिया में, मतलब ज्ञान है, रग्बी का ज्ञान है इंडिया में, मतलब इंटरनेशनल लेवल का ज्ञान है. सो उसके बेस पर आप मत सोचो कि आई कैन प्ले रग्बी बिकॉज there's no the thinking is not wide. The thinking is wide and broad, and काफी चीजें हैं जो हमें रग्बी सिखा सकती है. There are lots of resources, lots of avenues available. So if there is a desire to learn things and to become good, then start putting in the work. Just start putting in the work.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rishi. It was lovely speaking to you. And from the looks of it, everyone's really enjoyed the session. And
Always
thank
a
you.
pleasure, Vahbiz. Lovely chatting to you, and now we'll see you soon.
You will. See you, Rishi. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
So, guys, that was a wonderful session. Sorry, those whose questions were not answered. Sorry, अगर बहुत ज़्यादा इंग्लिश हुआ या बहुत ज़्यादा हिंदी हुआ, हम जितना बैलेंस कर सकते हैं हम बैलेंस कर रहे हैं. प्लीज हमारे साथ बेयर कीजिए. हमारा अगला सेशन संडे को होगा ऑन रग्बी इंडिया 360. मेक श्योर यू ट्यून इन. आज का सेशन थोड़ा जल्दी करना पड़ा क्योंकि जैसे हम जानते हैं कि ऋषि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में है और वहां का अभी टाइम हो रहा है कुछ 10 बजे रात के हो रहे हैं. सो thank you everyone for being so accommodative, and I believe it was a lovely session. I think we've got some great tips from there. If you want to make it big in anything, if you want to be great in anything, you need to just to summarize everything, you need to be giving 10,000 hours, that is 10 years of your life to it. That's what most of the people who have reached the top of their career, that's what they say. Just believe that you can do it. Make sure your time management is great. And as a child, as a youngster, try and get as many things in your day as possible, because आपको और कुछ काम करना नहीं है, आपके ऊपर कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है, आपको बस पढ़ाई करना है, खेलना है, खाना है, सोना है. So as a child, don't take pressures of anything. Do as much as you can, play as much as you can. Rugby is a great game. आपको एक पेरेंट की जैसे आपको बड़ा करेंगे, पालेंगे. All right, so I'm also going to wrap it up here. We've had a great session. Thank you, everybody. Stay home, stay safe, and keep training. See you.